we'll just start things off with fragrance hot takes or unpopular opinions.
I'm going to say something. Longevity is not a deal breaker for me. Yeah. Every time people talk about longevity, I'm like, your man doesn't last that long, but you've never broken up with him. Why does now your perfume have to last 24 hours? Like,
Just reapply.
right, just reapply.
See, I feel like longevity, it's not everything to me anymore. It used to be a lot to me, but I will say though, after a certain price point, I don't want it to last 20 minutes. I want it to at least last like a good 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah. 4 to 6 hours is fair, but I feel like even the worst perfumes last at least 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I've never, like, and maybe knock on wood, I've never tried anything that disappeared after 20 minutes unless it was a body mist. Even the worst Tom Ford fragrance
And even
will get through a date night.
If you spray them on your clothes, they're gonna last in your clothes a lot longer for sure.
Well, that's the issue is I think the perfume commercials have done us all dirty. It's not 2 spritzes on your wrist. Yeah. That might be cute for you, as you have
Oh, it's not even
said.
2. It's 1 spritz on the wrist shared between 2 wrists.
No. Believe what is the phrase you use? You have to put that shit on.
Gotta put that shit on. Don't be afraid. Like, people act like the fragrance is gonna beat them up. Like, you bought it. Just put more on. Like, I always say, like, spray with abundance. Like, people are like, oh, I want my perfume to last forever. I'm like, why? You can just get another one.
Literally. Yeah.
The money will appear in your bank account.
If you pull out a 2 ml sample and you just spray it till it's empty, you're gonna get about 50 sprays out of that. Yeah. And that's just a 2 ml sample. Yeah. Like, I assure you, you're not gonna run through that 50 ml as fast as you think you are.
I saw a brand doing a video spraying their samples, and they were counting how many sprays.
Oh, when I used to make samples for people, like, I would count like how many samples, like how many sprays I'm doing. I'm like, damn, 40 sprays in like a little 1 ml. This is at least like 5 wears for the person that doesn't put their shit on.
My hot take is that just reciting notes isn't terribly helpful, and that notes in general, while they might be directional, they're not the thing that you should judge a fragrance on.
It's not too accurate. So
See, I feel like based on what we were talking about yesterday, remember when we had that discussion about what's like a note that you would completely not go for? I feel like I have learned that there's notes that I feel like I don't like, but then after smelling it with other stuff and how it's combined, it's like, okay, I don't mind it anymore. Yep. So yeah, I agree, but I do also think that it is helpful. Like,
it's like a sort of like an orange flag. Like, if I see papyrus, I'm gonna be like, I don't know about all that.
Like,
but
sample first.
Yeah. There's also the other people who, and by people I mean bros, like, well, does it have any oud in it? Is it leathery? Yeah. Is it gonna be a panty dropper? It's like,
and the crazy thing is, all of them are synthetic notes. So like, essentially, each person is creating what they think, like, their interpretation of leather, their interpretation of like caramel, their interpretation of like a blood orange, right?
And sometimes it's like their leather is really like a suede leather, so it's not even it's not new car leather. It's like a soft UGG leather.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, like, it's texture. It's a texture thing. Like, I always close my eyes and imagine like the texture. Is this a fuzzy peach or is this like a juicy peach? You know, is it freeze dried peach, like peach, slices from Trader Joe's?
Peach nectar.
Everything is like everything is. I think of fragrance as like a texture and also an experience, and that's how sometimes you understand that not everybody's note is going to be the same as someone else's note.
Yeah. My main impetus for this though is the cynical diaries that are Fragrantica reviews. Look, I'm pretentious as all get out, right? Like, I had a Judy Chicago quote ready for this podcast, and I go through and read this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that like the Bronte sisters were resurrected. Please just tell me it smells like the Regime de Fleur reviews. If you read, is like somebody decided that they were gonna fuck the ghost of Lord Byron and then write about a fragrance. Yeah. It's like, you have bigger problems, and you're like, it's not about just tell me what it fucking smells like, please.
You know, the worst ones are those viral bro fragrances, like the Toscavana, right? Toscavana. The Toscavat, Inexcusable Evil. When I was reading the reviews for that fragrance, I just thought to myself, it just keeps getting worse. The reviews were crazy. I was like, oh, these are poetic. Like, people are really making this into something very, like, they want to make it something wearable, but it's not meant to be a wearable fragrance.
Those are art projects. I met the Toscavat people. They're a lovely sort of twosome, but that is a house that is about, they have playlists and they have art, and I think that's more indicative of perfume as something adjacent to a larger art project, which is really cool. It's fascinating. It is not something you wear out.
It's like couture clothing, though, too. Like, when we see these couture runway shows, the clothing is not meant to be even worn on the red carpet. They're meant to be seen and appreciated and put in a museum somewhere, but not necessarily worn. And that brings me to my second hot take. sometimes you can like a fragrance, but it doesn't mean you want to wear it.
Yeah, literally.
And that's like, I feel like that's a lot of us when we have our collections. Like we have perfumes that we could love, appreciate
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
art and whatever, but it's not something that we necessarily wear.
Yeah.
Or that is our scent profile or preference.
It's like shoes. Like my Tom Ford heels are not the shoes I'm going to go wear to get groceries.
Exactly.
Like I wear, my sneakers, my Uggs the most, but they're there for a certain look in a certain occasion. But it's like weird because people look at your collection, they're like, oh, well, you don't wear all those fragrances every day. Do you wear your shoes every day?
Exactly.
Do you wear your boots every day? Like I'm not wearing knee-high boots. I'm not wearing my vinyl knee-high, thigh-high boots in the middle of a Texas Texas summer
Yeah.
in 120-degree weather, like time and place. And I feel like
selection
it's the
for a
same thing with
reason.
fragrances. People just don't get that.
You know what my hot take is? And this is more to like the creator side. I think hating something doesn't make you so different. I feel like a lot of the times people want to like drag things to oblivion in order to feel like different.
I'm going to say something that's even hotter. I think that hating something is the only thing that makes them different because they can't be creative any other way. I think that when you cannot be creative or witty with anything else, like, and the only thing you can say is Black Opium sucks. Like that's your,
Yeah.
and all you can say is I'm so different. Like I hate these popular, and that's all you have. I'd say pick up a book or maybe watch some television.
Let's talk about that. When people get mad about describing perfumes a certain way, when it's like, what do you have the vocabulary of a fifth grader?
Are you okay? Like, are you okay?
It's like I had this happen and it, actually no, let me not be this condescending right now. It's okay to like things. It's really okay to enjoy things. Things are also popular for a reason. Like it or not, Coco Mademoiselle is popular for a reason. If you're gonna hate on it, let's just hate on what Coco Chanel was doing, goose stepping in the early 1940s.
Yeah.
But not everybody who wears it is. I'm so different. Okay, congratulations, you smell like what the Toscovats are, like credit cards and cocaine. It's like, well, I don't. Yeah.
My hot take will get me stoned at this table,
Oh gosh.
particularly by Fumi. So you know where I'm going with this.
Okay,
Wait
Wait a minute. I need a minute.
You need a minute.
I need a minute.
You might need a minute.
Woosah. Okay, go ahead.
My hot take is that like, I know, just like Black Opium, just like a lot of other popular designer fragrances, everybody hates Sauvage.
Yes.
Okay, so
I actually like
I
it.
actually like don't hate Sauvage. Okay, so one thing I will be very specific about: I have never said Sauvage stinks. I have been
true.
very, very consistent about that. I've never once said this is a perfume that stinks. I hate the smell of it. I've always said that, and I quote, "Not every man who wears Sauvage is for the streets, but every man who's for the streets owns a bottle of Sauvage." I've always said that. I've been very consistent. I said, y'all put words in my mouth.
That's very true.
Fumi never said it stank. I just said, I don't like the kind of men that tend to wear this.
I specifically I like the Eau de Parfum concentration,
Yeah.
and I love the elixir.
Yeah.
I'm not really crazy about the Eau de Toilette,
Yeah.
and the Parfum to me, it has like this kind of Coca-Cola undertone to it that I'm not really vibing with. And same with Bleu de Chanel.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the Parfum of either of those, but that Eau de Parfum with the vanilla and the nutmeg, it just like it's so smooth and suave, and I think that it's like a totally different type of demeanor.
Yeah. Oh, I've never thought it
pertaining
stank.
to-
I've always been very specific about a stereotype that I apply to
And that's
the
fair.
users of the
I can
fragrance.
admit that. That's
But I will say,
fair.
like, that kind of goes back to like content too, like
Yeah.
with people like reading more into what you're saying than what you're actually saying.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's true.
It's like when you say I don't like this fragrance and you can explain why. It's like last night at dinner.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I'm not really a fan of octopus, and it's never like I think it's disgusting. It's always I'm just not a fan of the texture. Like it's a texture thing for me.
Right.
It's too chewy, and people don't do that with fragrance. They just say, well, it smells like grandma. Well,
Yeah.
do you not like
does
iris? Maybe it's
grandma
the
smell like?
maybe it's the powdery.
Right.
You know, maybe you don't like powdery fragrances.
That's my other
You know?
hot take is that while it might be a quick, convenient descriptor, calling something old lady is actually like sexist and ageist as fuck. Because in 25 years, old lady is going to be Baccarat, and then all the women need to find a fainting couch.
And also, when I'm an old lady, what do I smell like then? I smell like old, like
Also, old ladies are cool. We should all be so grateful to
I love
age.
my grandma.
We should all be so like grateful to age and to embrace that.
Yeah.
And
And it's
And
all
going
older
back-
people that make these fragrances. Like your favorite like young fragrance was made by someone who's probably 60. So
Yeah.
I definitely reference old lady in my fragrances, but I do it with like quotations, and it's usually because, for instance, like Delina, a lot of people comment that and they're like, oh, it smells like old lady, and so I will tell people like this does or does not give old lady, but
and that's interesting to me. Nothing about Delina gives old lady. Is
the
it the
powder-
rose?
it's
Is
the
it the
powder
rose?
and the rose? Yes, it's the powdery nuance and the rose in it, and they think they
Because
associate it
someone
with,
said that like I recommended a mango. No, it was hibiscus by Zara. It is literally mango and like papaya. Like it's the most fruity fragrance. It's basically a perfume version of a Bath and Body Works perfume. And someone commented and was like, "Oh, I bought that when you recommended it, and it smelled like grandma." What about it smelled like grandma?
And see, this
is your
goes back to
is your
my
grandma
point.
Rihanna? Because it smells like a tropical like.
yeah.
This
Is
goes
your
back to
grandma
what I was
Rihanna?
saying
Like.
about people need to just expand their vocabulary.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
like pick up at the source. Go look up the word that you know, and then go find words that are similar. And like, that's too many. I love it at the source. I love it.
Well, now they'll just say it smells elderly, which is still not helpful.
Exactly. Something synonymous.
In the comments, someone was like, when I posted my response about like how actually describing perfumes is helpful, even listing the notes, but just beyond the notes by saying it's a description, a proper description. Someone was like, oh, they be talking about it smells like honey and orange. You've never smelled orange. You don't know you never tasted honey.
You know
Like,
what?
That is crazy.
I
How
was
are you mad at
shocked.
that?
I saw
How
a
are you mad at
TikTok
that?
of these girls, and they were sisters who had never tried like certain fruits. And I just thought to myself, these are fruits I see like at the bodega. Like these are not even like exotic. It was like kiwi.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm 30 years old and I've never tried a kiwi. You've never tried a kiwi?
And I feel like orange is even
Or a
less
cantaloupe
exotic
or a
than
melon.
that.
And so like they don't know what they smell like.
It's an apple. Like, come on, you don't know what an apple smells
Or
like?
pear. Like I've never tried a pear. And so I just think to myself, well, so many people have, and I think that they are the people that order chicken tenders when they got to eat.
Yeah.
Probably like very much chicken tenders and French fries kind of girlies, which
Right.
that's up to everybody.
No shade.
But it makes sense now why
yesterday,
when
it
people
does.
say like, well, what is a tuberose? Like what is a Jade? I've never smelled Jade. Like
tuberose is something that's more understandable that people might not know what it smells
Right.
like because
yeah, but jasmine
Yeah.
or
But realistic
gardenia
foods
or
that you come across every day, it's kind of
or blackberry, like blackberry. Like when someone was like, well, this smelled like grandma, I'm like, okay, maybe you don't like blackberry. Blackberry is a very syrupy kind of note.
Yeah.
Or blackcurrant
Yeah,
specifically.
blackcurrant, like
Blackcurrant is
cassis,
very syrupy. And so if you don't like blackcurrant, you probably won't like blackcurrant across the board. But also you might have never had a blackcurrant. Or a fig.
yeah.
Fig gets people. Fig gets people.
And then they can go multiple
Jump in really
ways.
quick because I want to go back to a point that Funmi made right now, and then also the last episode that we filmed about people that order chicken tenders all the time. But I feel like even for myself, like in a mental health way, sometimes it's like a comfort thing, and the same with fragrances. Like there'll be times with my whole collection, and it might be a hot take, might be not. I'll only wear like one for like months straight, and I don't know if it's just like a comfort thing. And I feel like some people are just like that. You get what I'm saying?
Wait,
Yeah,
what is the if you all have what's like your comfort note or your comfort fragrance? It's like I do not
Probably
want to think
vanilla.
about
I
this.
would say
I
my
need
comfort
chicken
note is
tenders.
vanilla, for sure. Vanilla. That's
Mine
a
is
comfort note.
definitely a good musk, specifically like a white musk, something clean, soft, cashmere. Yeah, mwah, chef's kiss.
I say those two, especially recently. I've been kind of getting into the clean, fresh.
I love
like,
that.
This
I
kind
love
of
seeing all of
laundry.
you guys, like kind of.
It's not-
Because
I'm
even
like,
Khadija was saying that too.
am I maturing? Like, am I growing up?
I love that. I love that for you.
I really like Dawkins Aromas Vanilla Pearls. I feel like because you like musk, it almost has
Oh, I
like
like
a
that one
musky
too.
vanilla.
The
You
Dawkins,
like it?
yeah.
It's such a good
It's really
bedtime
nice.
scent. I love it so much. It's
I'm
so
glad that you
comforting.
reminded because I forgotten I had that.
I should have brought
Like, I used to wear it a
should've
lot
brought
when I first
feel
got
like
it.
Zoe would be a vanilla that you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love.
If you're
I love a
just-
good vanilla.
If you're only listening, what you can't see and what you couldn't see is that all of us together brought probably 40 or 50 fragrances down here.
Yeah. We probably, if we put all of the fragrances together that everyone brought on this trip, it would be a whole nother collection.
Yeah.
Like
It's
easily.
the fragrance Olympics.
Choking out
Yeah,
a production crew at a certain point. Mine's sunscreen. I want to smell like banana boat sunscreen.
I'm the complete opposite.
I like those sunscreen notes. I do too. I like it.
No, I can't stand that. No, but do you like Soleil Blanc?
I like a flanker for Soleil Blanc,
Okay.
which is called Orchid Soleil.
I'm not a fan of Soleil Blanc. Like it gives that
I
sunscreen.
like Soleil Blanc. It gives me like I feel like a very rich woman.
And it does give that. It does give
feels
like
like-
luxury, but
you
it's
know,
just not,
I think
again,
specifically-
appreciate, but not for me.
Someone driving a Range Rover with white leather. Like, you know what you like? Do you know the luxury that you have to have in your life to have white leather in
Honey.
your car? I can't do white leather because my
I
makeup.
can't never.
I eat cheeseburgers in the car. Like it's
No, literally.
mustard and ketchup all over.
I do Chipotle mukbangs in
Like-
the car all the time.
Like I will spill like my
Yeah.
chocolate milkshake on the seat. Like I feel like there will be when I get to a certain point in my life when I have white leather seats in my car, I've really made it. Like I've
Yeah.
grown up.
Absolutely.
I don't have to like wear black shirts to lunch because I'll
Every
be afraid of
time.
getting ketchup on my shirt.
Exactly.
See, my hot take to kind of go with yours is that My pet peeve when people describe these sunscreen fragrances, when they say it as if coconut smells like, or what is it? Sunscreen smells like, wait, hold on. It's like the thing where it's like the sunscreen smells like coconut. Coconut doesn't automatically smell like sunscreen.
Correct.
So not all coconut perfumes smell like sunscreen. You know what I'm saying?
And also,
I don't like how people say that.
Yeah.
Sunscreen
Like, it's
is
not always associated.
I've always considered like the combination of coconut and then solar notes, like the white floral notes combination, because coconut, once again, there's no like raw material for coconut. So at the end of the day, coconut is an interpretation that the person making the perfume is imagining. Like, so it could be like the meat of the coconut, it could be the skin of the coconut, it could be a coconut water, it could be coconut milk. Like, so when you see the coconut note, it could really mean like a million versions of coconut.
Yeah, it's like not all coconut perfumes are going to smell like sunscreen. You have Soleil Blanc, which kind of has that sunscreen smell, but then you have Leisure in Paradise, which smells like a coconut cake. Like
and that's like the Miami Nectar, the one by Ellis Brooklyn, and I brought it and everyone loved it, but it has that coconut water as opposed to like a coconut milk or just an actual coconut, and it doesn't deliver like a pina colada because there's also pink pineapple in there as well. But that one it's like a really good execution of like coconut and pineapple together that doesn't smell redundant.
It's something I think people don't tend to understand, partially because, and I lose perspective on this, the average consumer for fragrance just wants to sort of be directed. Like, what do you think I might enjoy? Please do not make me go through like a treasure hunt. Like, I am not Saint Deanna Jones going through trying to find this particular thing. But what people don't know is the perfumer's palette. If I can be a dork for a second, prior to a lot of en plein air painting, like going out and painting what you saw, people used reference books, which is why when you look at Renaissance art, you see these cats that look just spectacularly fucked up because they weren't told to go copy what you saw. The perfumer's palette in many ways works the same way. The palette of leathers that they have is not a one-to-one recreation because there's many things that are mute ingredients. You can't translate them. So I can tell you what I think might work for you, but dig a little bit. Like go crib notes on Sylvain Delacourt's blog about what a solar floral is.
Do you guys remember the conversation that we had pertaining to, like just getting to the point and helping direct people? And we were saying like, we're kind of sick of the whole top 5 thing or whatever, like people doing like top 5 fragrances, top 10, this, that, and third. But I was saying that it actually proves to be like really insightful to people who don't understand a lot about fragrance, because it's like, if I know nothing about fragrance and there's tens of thousands of videos of these people describing them in all different ways and all different lists, it's like, just tell me the top 5 that I need, that I can just go into Macy's or Neiman's or Saks or whatever, and I can just smell these 5. And although that's, obviously not the end all to be all because everyone has different tastes, but I do find that people find it to be like really, really helpful when you can just get straight to it and be like,
have we all
these are
worked
3.
like in some capacity as like a counter girl or a shop girl?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
It's interesting to me because I think if you're going to be a content creator, you have a chemistry background, but you have that perspective. It's really nice to know, like, it's quite intimidating for somebody who's not terribly knowledgeable about fragrance to come to a counter, because I mean, I've been intimidated out of purchasing things. So the top 5 lists are so helpful just to give somebody a starting point.
Yeah.
And I think it is all about how you present it, not even your format.
Exactly.
What I don't like is when it's a top 5 fragrance that I know you've had for exactly a week that you didn't tell anybody you got in PR.
Right.
Because I saw the same email and also 13 other people are reviewing it. I do actually want to see all of those reviews. I want everybody's different perspective. But for the love of God, it's not. And there's no debt.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I think my beef is like people that do the top 10 fragrances for life. Every quarter. Every quarter you do your top 10 fragrances for life.
It's all different.
And every quarter it's a different for life ended 3 months ago, I guess.
I get comments all the time. People ask me, "Oh, can you do another top 10 video? Can you do a top 10 video?" But I'm like, my
not
top
really
10
changing
is
much.
not going to change that much. I can do a top 10 for the season, but like I cannot do an overall top 10 and then have it be like completely different from the one that I did a year ago. Because at the end of the day, if it's really my top 10, if it truly really is my top 10, it's going to be.
It's going to be
Relative.
there.
I think the most helpful thing is actually doing categories of top 10 lists, because like Zoe's top 10 is not going to be my top 10 or Elsie's top 10, but I would love to know your top 10 coconuts because I like coconut.
Right.
Or I would like to know your top 10 strawberry fragrances, like, or your top 10 clean, fresh fragrance. Like, I think those things are really helpful because it also directs you with your own taste. Like, if I know I love strawberry perfumes, but I don't want to go smell 300 perfumes at Macy's because I don't even know which perfumes have strawberry. If I go to Zoe's page and look up, oh, she has a strawberry playlist. Now I know, okay, I go to Macy's. Which of these strawberry perfumes do you have here?
Exactly.
You know, like I think those are the most helpful. Or if I want to smell really girly and feminine, like I'm a really girly pop, kind of, what is that? What is that? Coquette kind of, vibe. I'm looking for those fragrances that give that vibe. And you do a video like that, then that's going to be more helpful to me because I know Shagha Food won't be on that list.
Right. Exactly.
Or something like that.
Can I just say, now that we're opening up and it's like a safer space, my top take is like, I'm not mad at dupes. And I feel like this is controversial, but with everything in life, right, there has to be nuance. I think accessibility also is a part of it, why I'm not so mad. And like MFK is not losing, it's not going to not be able to pay their bills, because one brand did a dupe oil. But like if you're ripping off indie brands, then like, yeah, that's an issue.
Okay, so I have a take on that. I feel like I don't normally purchase dupes. Not that I have anything against them. I don't normally purchase them because I feel like if I like the fragrance, I'd rather get the original. That's just me.
That's how I feel.
But the times that I have purchased dupe, for example, I purchased Dawkins Aroma's dupe of Feb de Lucius, and I like the dupe so much, I bought the original. So like I've done that where like let me try the dupe first to see if it's my type of fragrance, and then I'll buy the original anyway.
Exactly.
So that's kind of how
I literally just did that with Brown Sugar Babe though. Like they're an unreleased fragrance. The second I put it on my skin, I went home and purchased the original. Then like within minutes.
And it's very different though for me because it's like, especially when it's like a different product, for example, oils, and then you already have the perfume, it's complementary together.
Exactly.
Like it becomes more enhanced that
way.
I
do agree that accessibility is like, that's important. So like if someone buys dupes, I'm never gonna look down at them on it, but it's just like my personal preference.
There's a tangent to the accessibility thing, which is an ethics thing. I'm a little bit picky. So when I've done some kind of analysis, my own personal one, doesn't have to be everybody else's, and I've decided I don't ever want to give this brand any money, but damn it, I like how it smells. And the argument is always predicated on an idea of artistic integrity, that you're duping something and you're not original. Okay, so let's talk about self-plagiarism. Let's talk about perfumers plagiarizing each other for things that they're already, like, God bless and keep Jerome Epinette. But he's done the same Pear Ambrette situation about 4 times. Now, all of them are lovely, but
the guy that did Poets of Berlin by Wilhelm Parfumerie, he also did the same exact fragrance for Floral Street. And when I smelled them together, I was like, these really smell these are siblings. They're not cousins. These are siblings.
And that's the thing, like, even
it was the same perfume. I was like, oh, he actually just
even other niche brands like dupe each other's, you know what I mean? Like how many different, well, actually we haven't seen a lot of like Baccarat's remade within that. Like there's always a little twist to it. It might have a similar profile, but for instance, there's Creed Aventus, and then you have Scented Peace for him, and then you have
Morning Chest.
And then you have Orion or Orient
Imperium by Electimus,
by Roja. Like there's so many, and it's like, when it's done within, these niche brands, it's not really looked at as like being a dupe. But if someone does it for a lesser price or a smaller brand, then it's like, oh, you're ripping the brand off. But it's like there are plenty of people who literally own every single one of those fragrances.
I think the part about ripping the brand off is that because they advertise it as like it's inspired by, versus the niche brands are never going to advertise, oh, this was inspired by this other niche brand. They're never going to do that.
That's even worse though. I feel like at least if you're giving them credit and saying like, look, this is where I took inspiration from, as opposed to literally just sneakily stealing all of their ingredients and marketing it as your own unique thing. Like
I smelled like Tendelinas at the, what is it called? Exons. Like I smelled like Tendelinas. I smelled like 10 Baccarats. I smelled like 10. I mean, even Black Opium. Like that scent profile. I mean, 100 Silent Ways.
I don't think they smell that alike.
I wouldn't say they're sibling. I think they're cousins.
Okay.
They definitely have
all the time, like
a vibe. They have a vibe.
Yeah.
I think that we can all agree there's a line you draw at indie businesses, people that are self-funded, people that aren't, VC. Things,
that shall not be named.
Someone tried to dupe Exalte. I was like, really? I'm right here. I'm right here.
But then you don't see people duping things like Minuit et Demi. You know what I mean? So it's like people create their own fragrances, and it's like, why?
People pick and choose who they.
I remember when I saw the Exalte dupe videos going around, and I was like,
what about the Minuit et Demi? Yeah, where's the deuce for that one?
Yeah,
I'll wait.
That's why Brown Sugar Babe, I feel like they really bridged a gap, because it's like they're not necessarily, copying the fragrance, but this is something that regardless of if you own the fragrance or not, this is something you still want there, because not every fragrance does have like the necessary ancillary products, but and I'm like Jade, I don't really like to like buy dupes, but for instance, Baccarat is one that I don't mind having a Baccarat dupe because I don't always want to spend $400 or $500 to simply layer it. I love to layer Baccarat with other things, and I run through the bottle so quickly, so I don't mind having a couple little dupes that I can just, you know, layer with, like the Amber Rouge by Orientica, like a really, really good dupe for them that I love to, you know, layer with other fragrances.
You brought up Brown Sugar Babe because just hearing Makeda's thought process, she always talks about her intention, like never being to like rip off anybody.
Exactly.
And really, what she really wants to do is, she's a fragrance lover herself, is amplify the notes of the things.
And that's exactly what it does.
Say, you know, Khadija, maybe pass this message to Makeda, because you were talking about how they don't have perfumes. Can they come up with like a body mist or something? Like, I would like a perfume for that. Right?
Literally.
Makeda, if you're watching this, I want like a perfume or body mist or something. Please. Thank you.
We all have this. We have these conversations with ourselves because consumers and people who consume content expect us to be these kind of arbiters of ethics. So people want to be told what to think. They don't usually want to do that research for themselves. And the people that do eat chicken tenders every night, but they still stay curious. The best way I think you approach that content is to stay curious and remember that, believe it or not, you can actually form your own opinion. You can actually do your own research. And someone having a different opinion than you is not the death knell of their content or integrity.
And it doesn't, and it literally doesn't mean that you are, you know, not, okay, so like last night at dinner, when I think everybody at the table enjoyed the octopus, right?
Yeah.
And I was the only person that didn't have any octopus.
I didn't have any.
You didn't have any either?
No, I'm
but like, I
terrified.
didn't feel any worse about myself or feel like I needed to argue you guys down about why you like octopus and
I'm
I
not
don't.
gonna argue with you to make you
And
try
you're not gonna
it.
like force
You
me.
didn't have any caviar.
Yeah, you didn't have any, and I was just like, okay, more for me.
Exactly. Hey, we did not mind that. And
Yeah.
the sisters, but Khadija and
But like people like to
Elsie-
shame, like they're like, oh, you're just not XYZ, and I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, just not really a fan of that texture.
Yeah,
That's a
literally.
huge thing. That's a life thing. And it's something it took me a while to get over, coming from a background where like I didn't know anything about caviar or oysters. But if you approach that among people, you're like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Every time I've done that about fragrance, about food, about anything in life, I've been rewarded because either you learn or you learn that the people around you aren't the people you want. Because if anybody around you treats you and you're earnest, like there's a difference between ignorance and stupidity.
Yeah.
Ignorance doesn't have to be bad. You can be ignorant of something and want to learn.
Exactly.
It's when you choose not to learn something that you become stupid. And
And
God,
I
I
say
hate
something that
stupid
goes
people.
to one of the first things you said when you were talking about the Fragrantica reviews that are like overly like so over the top. I feel like at least all of us, we do a really good job on TikTok, and I've gotten this comment a lot of how even though I describe perfumes, I talk about the notes, I talk about how it actually smells, I make it so easy to understand.
Yeah.
So like if you're watching my page, you can be someone who's super into fragrance or someone who's just getting into it, and you'll still be able to understand. Like it's not like you have to be a fragrance expert to be on Perfumetok. And I feel like for the most part, at least the side of TikTok that I'm on, the perfume community is like that.
Yeah.
So
I would, that makes sense.
yeah,
Just cut you off.
like I feel like the super artistic stuff, it's cool for the people who are
Yeah.
into it, but for me, paragraphs and paragraphs about how this like I can't.
Yeah.
And
Straight to
I'm
the point,
guilty
but
of the
still
paragraphs.
detailed and still informative.
And I want to tell everybody, it's okay not to like something. Like
Yes.
people will message me all the time, like, hey, I bought this. Like, what can I do to make it better? Sometimes you just don't like it. Like,
Return it.
if you told me, Funmi, I don't like octopus, and I'm like, okay, I don't like octopus, and you're like, well, have you tried it with a milkshake? No, it's not.
No.
Like, it's not gonna make me like it better.
They
Like,
kill me,
I don't
they're
like
like-
octopus whether it's boiled, grilled, fried. Like,
You're like,
I'm just.
oh, I don't like banana pudding. Oh, you haven't had my mom's.
You know, and you asked me about calamari as well, and I was like, it's actually a texture. I just don't really like foods that are really rubbery. Like, it's a texture thing. So sometimes you just don't like a fragrance. Like,
Yeah.
And that's okay. And similarly, and I think it goes back to both you and Elsie's points. I feel as though like it's okay to change your mind. And perfume and
Yes.
life,
I
you're
agree. Yeah.
not stuck to
Absolutely.
one belief system. It's like personally, as my fragrance knowledge and taste have grown, things that I said I hated in the beginning, now I really like.
Okay,
And
ask
vice
everyone a
versa.
question. What is a perfume that all of you guys have changed your mind on? Like maybe you loved it at first and now you don't like it, or you hated it at first and now
Mine was Shaggoff Oud. The first time I smelled it, I was like,
you're shook.
I was
it's always
scared.
Shaggoff.
I was scared, but now I like it, and I don't understand what changed, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
I have so I collect like some weird stuff. I collect like some weirder vintage stuff just like for fun. And there have been a couple of those that everybody hails. So the way that you know that someone's going to be an insufferable piece of shit is if you ask them how they feel about the 2007 François Dimachy pre-reformulation Dior Bois d'Argent, which is also already too many words.
And they have the lot number and everything.
Yeah.
So
Aventus.
it's like, oh, well, you didn't like it before. This is an anecdote. This will be the one that I will tell. So we had a lady come in to the perfume store I used to work at, and she's picking up and sniffing, and she's turning her nose, and she's curling up, and she's sighing. I don't reward that kind of behavior. And she goes, I just wish this was slightly more narcotic and powdery. I go, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She goes, well, do you know what that means? Oh, no. And I said, I do. In fact, are there a couple of fragrances that you enjoy that you find have that profile? And she said, well, I'm not sure that you've smelled it, but the Serge Lutton Tuberose Criminelle. I said, formulation or pre-reformulation? Because pre-reformulation, that tuberose was fairly bratty out of the bottle. You had to let it sit for about 20 minutes. And the post one, I mean, Christopher Sheldrake did an okay job with it. And she's looking at me like, wait, you know about this? Yes, bitch.
Yes, literally.
But the nice thing is, sometimes people walk in and go, can I smell good? What do you think?
Yeah, no, those are the people I love.
Yeah.
Oh, literally. I love those people.
Yeah.
Please find me. Please let my videos come across your algorithm.
Speaking of people we love, and I'm going to stop directing the conversation. I think we all have followers, people who are not content creators, who are the first people to like our videos, to repost it, to share it, that are like the sweetest people. Like we met Jennifer last night.
I love her.
Jennifer, you're an angel.
Shout out to Jennifer. We love you.
But I was also thinking, I have a woman who follows me named Lois. Lois is a milliner. She makes hats. She's fabulous. And she likes everything I post. She's just like the sweetest lady. Yeah. There's Neil, there's Emma, there's a bunch of people who, I don't want to say your names because I don't think you like having your names said, but Sarah, you know who you are. Like these people are like, you guys are the reason I keep doing it.
There's been times, there's this one guy too, I recently sent him some samples, but there's been times where I noticed people like constantly replying and like leaving comments on my videos, and if they're like, oh, I want to try this, I'll just be like, I'll DM them on Instagram, especially if they have it in their connected to their account. I'll be like, what's your address? I'll send you a sample of it and a few others and any other new ones in my collection so you can try them. And I've done that a few times, and I never post about it because I feel like it's weird.
Because we don't have to do that. It's not necessary.
It's like what people do, make videos, record them giving food to the homeless.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
You just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like I noticed that. I noticed the people who are constantly commenting and supporting, and I appreciate it so much. And like I will do that.
And they're like, and they're so consistent. Especially like I do a lot of lives, and they'll pop in, and like one girl was like, oh my God, like I'm graduating next week, and I was like, oh my God, like you've been following me for a while. So I sent her like a gift card to go get something that she wanted for a fragrance, like use this towards your next fragrance. Yeah. And you know, I think it's really good to acknowledge the people in your community that support you.
Yeah, definitely.
For just the fact that they like you, not because they want anything from it. Like I'll send PR boxes to people, giveaways.
Follow you just for the giveaway post. But when you see the people who are constantly interacting, constantly supporting, sometimes you just gotta be like, hey, what do you want?
Yeah, like birthdays, like anniversaries.
When I did my giveaway, and I did specifically pick people, I was like, you know what, I want to use this as an opportunity to like thank my community, and I chose a guy and 2 women, and I said in the video, like gave them, you know, my thanks for always supporting, and someone was like, oh, so you're only giving it to people who've been following you for a long time, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, you literally just can't win for losing. Like I have done other giveaways where it's been completely random, but that was an opportunity to really like show love and give flowers to the people who show love to me.
Can I jump in really quickly before you start, Jade? Because that just popped into my head. I don't see what the issue is with that, because I personally love when people have followed you from like your first 100 followers and they literally like grow with you. It no longer feels like your journey alone. It's like they've seen you through it.
And much like Funmi, one of the girls was literally graduating from nursing school, and I was like, honey, I've been in college. I know what it's like to be a broke college student, and looking at all these expensive fragrances, like, gosh, I would love to be able to treat myself to something like that. So I use that opportunity to do something nice for them, and then here comes Negative Nelly.
Like, it feels really good.
I've noticed like even other people in the perfume community, like I'm not gonna say their username or who they are, but they definitely have a
the search bar is so messy right now. Like the search bar is so messy right now. Funmi Monet, bitch.
After we wrap this up, I'm gonna show you guys. But there's this one creator, and she followed me just because of a she followed me just because of a giveaway, and I noticed that. And like my thing is, when I follow people back, not that I'm like picky with it or anything, but like I generally want to like your content, and not that you're doing the same thing as everyone else. And so I realized that she followed me specifically for that giveaway. And then I realized after the giveaway was over, she unfollowed me. And it was another creator. And she interacts with people. I see her. I know she's friends with some people. And
Not
I'm just
me.
Like, that is so interesting. I'm going to tell you guys after.
Yeah.
Oh.
Please do.
It's there's a
Like, she's never winning a giveaway of mine.
Oh. Well,
when this is clipped for social media, it's going to be just this commentary, but I can guarantee you in 5 minutes there's going to be the username.
the username.
It's there's a
It will say influencer giveaway scams.
You have to use that clip of you when you said the lady was being like condescending or whatever, and you were like, "Yes, bitch."
it's true.
That's such a nice little.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do
Let's
that.
wrap, let's
Yeah,
wrap
we
it.
can. I think
this segment where
I think this is an episode.
Yeah.
Hot takes is a
Yeah,
great episode.
This was great.
I
This was juicy.
I think in general, the number one rule you should use to like when you're choosing your fragrance is if you like it, you gotta wear it.
Wear
Absolutely.
it.
And
know?
that's why, this is the thing. If you like it, I love it.
Yeah, if you like it, I love it. And if I like it and you don't like it, that's okay
That's
too.
okay.
I'm not gonna
But
yuck
also,
your
don't call
yum.
me a liar.
Don't call me a liar. But if you like black opium and I don't like it, guess what? I'm still gonna tell you smell good when I smell you in the elevator.
Literally.
Yep.
It is, but we didn't even get to your hot take.
My hot take was that I love vanillas. I love gourmands, but I just don't like gourmands that are too foodie. Like I can't do it. Like I don't want to smell like butter. I would like to smell like a cookie, but not like
Yeah.
butter.
I don't want to smell like pizza. I'm just gonna be honest. I used to work in a restaurant, so I have PTSD
Yeah.
from leaving at the end of my shift
Oh
and
my
smelling
gosh,
like
that smell
grease
of food,
and
that sticky
old
smell.
food. Like PTSD. My mom used to make me change outside the house. She's like, "Do not come in the house with those nasty shoes that have been walking through grease all day." So I don't want to smell too foodie.
It's a thing too, and I've talked about this. Like I've written about this. I'm a size 18, and I know I look good, and I've got a
Damn good.
I've got a Rolodex of dick that tells me I look.
Oh,
good. Just
period.
open it up and flip it.
I know
through.
she's been spraining
So
her ankles for a while.
It's not. I don't even have to get to the ankles, bitch. Please. The issue is that I am still aware. Like it's not a self-confidence thing. I don't really want to smell. I don't want to be associated with smelling like food. It's like an insecurity thing for me.
Sure.
I'm like I don't really know if I want to go out and smell like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily want the association or connotation.
Yeah.
For example, the banana bread candle from Brown Sugar Babe. That candle smells so good in the house. Smells like you've been baking. But if that was a perfume, I wouldn't wear it because it's too foodie. It's too banana bread. But for a house, it smells like you were just cooking banana bread. And I like that.
That's
that.
true. Like I don't like cinnamon roll fragrances on myself. Like those
Yeah.
type of overly like. I mean, okay, I love Angel Share, but like some like there are certain candles you said I love burning the banana, even the bread style candles, croissant style candles. But yeah, I totally get it. Like I don't want to smell like ranch. I'm from Oklahoma, and ranch is basically our like national food, our state symbol.
Yeah.
But I don't want to smell like a bucket of ranch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind smelling like a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I want to smell a cheeseburger fragrance.
Yeah.
I would love to smell like the banana bread one, and I feel like that just shows how people are so different.
Yeah.
I love when people say that you smell good enough to eat.
Because you guys are two gourmand lovers, but two different gourmands.
Maybe maybe savory. Like I don't want to smell like a steak.
You take the good with the bad, but ultimately, if you're going to create content, have an opinion and perspective that can't be swayed. And if you consume content, don't be afraid to forge your own opinions. Use it as a reference and a guide. Please do not take my word as gospel. You will end up in hell, undoubtedly. It's not gospel.
Agreed.
Love it.
Well said.